We've got Sir Mark Prescott on the other line. Good evening, Sir Mark.
Good evening.
Good evening. We have got Katie with us here on the chairs, and Katie would like to ask you a couple of questions.
Hey, you right, Sir Mark?
Yeah, hi, Katie.
I just wondered, I've heard that you've been galloping a few horses at Chelmsford City, obviously was Great Lees, and I was wondering if you had any feedback for what it was like there now.
Yes, well, we were the first people to go about 18 months ago after it had closed, and they were very helpful, and the track hadn't been harrowed, I don't think, since the last race meeting, and all they did was harrow it for a couple of days, and we worked every 2-year-old we got there in sort of May 18 months ago, and it rode absolutely perfectly. So, you know, there won't be anything wrong with the surface, Katie.
That's good to know. It's exciting. They've got 58 fixtures there now. And do you think you'll probably go there a bit more than the other tracks, or do you think it won't make much difference?
I suppose you'll go, as all trainers, where the right races are. Yeah. But they'll doubtless frame a pretty broad spectrum of races, and I suspect we'll all find ourselves going as much there as anywhere else, you know. I suppose all the all-weather tracks will become pretty similar, with the exception of Surrey, which will remain a law unto itself.
Yeah.
And Sir Mark, we're obviously previewing the all-weather season this evening. What are your views on the all-weather in general? I mean, obviously, 1970 there wasn't an all-weather track, and there was 2 meetings a day. Do you think it's good for racing that 20% of the fixture list is made up of all-weather?
I'm not sure either one way or the other. I think there's tremendous benefits in that. I think the flat race season going on through the winter means that backward 2-year-olds and things that before we all rushed to get a run into them while the turf season was still going on up till the beginning of November, we sort of rushed them to get a run into them, and now it means that there isn't that sort of hurry to do so. So I think that's been very beneficial. I mean, 2 classic winners in the last 4 years made their debut on the all-weather and the winter months. So I think that's a tremendous plus. On a personal point of view, I think it was rather nice when flat racing ended in November.
No, absolutely. And obviously the BHA are trying to incentivise and initiatives to combat small fields. Do you think if trainers are going to go to Chelmsford City that maybe the likes of Kempton and Lingfield may suffer?
I suppose the gurus will have worked out the horse population available, won't they? I think all-weather racing serves more purpose in the summer. I don't know what Katie thinks, than perhaps the general public realises, that when the ground is very firm everywhere, in the summer those few all-weather meetings each week are enormously beneficial for a trainer who's got a horse ready to run but can't handle the firm ground. So I think the all-weather has lots of benefits.
Yeah, I totally agree, actually. It means that when you've got a horse 100% fit and ready, you haven't got to be totally, you know, with the weather dependent, have you? So it does make a big difference, actually, in the summertime.
You can find an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I think overall it's very beneficial. Like all good things, it probably gets overdone.
Yeah, yeah. I quite like the Good Friday, actually, although everyone was very against it last year. Obviously, we took a horse and attended, and I actually thought it went very well. I mean, what was your thoughts on the Good Friday?
There was a huge crowd there, so that must be good. Whether they'll turn out the second time will be, you know, more interesting. But there was a huge crowd, so from that point of view, it must be good. Do I think that it's a good thing to race every day of the year except for Christmas Day and 2 days before? Well, I probably don't. I think everybody needs a bit of a breather, and I rather liked it when there were seasons. But the actual Good Friday, I think, was undoubtedly a success.
Yeah, I mean, I get people now saying, oh, now the season's over, you're going to have a break. See which season ended and another one's already started now, isn't it?
And even more so for the jumping boys, who, you know, the one season ends and 3 to 5 days later they're off again. I think there is a case for splitting the seasons and giving everybody a break of some sort, including the horse.
Yeah.
And in terms of the horses, I just want to talk about one that's been a star for you this year, Palestinian. You must be absolutely delighted even on Champions Day, that the horse runs so well.
Yes, he's a horrible beast, as you saw before the race. If he can throw it away beforehand, he does. But once he's in the stall and through the race, he races very kindly. He's always been like that, and he's a fine motivator, and I think perhaps a lot of us failed to realise how well Michael Bell trained Motivator until we tried to train them ourselves. And Motivator was by Monjou, and I think we failed to realise how well John Hammond trained Monjou. So, you know, it's a trait of the families, and I expect Katie's probably had a few of her own to compare.
Yeah, they are. They do tend to run in the family. I mean, we've had obviously the Imperial Guest and Excellent Guest family, and obviously they've all been very similar in to train all of them. But I mean, the other thing I wanted to ask you was about do you think it makes a massive difference with the jockey booking to that particular horse? I mean, obviously Andrea Azzini rides because of the his
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but the horse gave poor Andrea a terrible time in the Irish St Leger, where, being a Group 1 race, we had to parade in front of the stands.
Yeah.
And it was the first time he'd ever seen the horse. And by the time the band struck up the second verse of the Irish national anthem, it was clear to me that neither horse nor jockey had fully bonded.
Yeah.
But I think Andrea was probably pretty unlucky to get him on that day.
Yeah.
And you made that point, actually, didn't you, Sir Mark? After the race, you said that you feel that Andrea Ancini is now bonding with the horse. How important is it, the jockey relationship with the horse? It's about getting to know each other, I guess.
I suppose it's very, I think, I know what Katie thinks, it's probably very important with a few horses.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't matter much to most. Rather like schools, you know, most children are perfectly adaptable and fit in at most schools, but there's the odd child that needs extreme care and attention and probably needs a particular teacher. I think most jockeys get on with most horses, but there's a few exceptions. What do you think, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely right, and that horse clearly needs to strike up a bond with the jockey before he's prepared to let anything go on. But yeah, and I think they are very different. As you've said.
I must say, Andrea rides it beautifully.
Yeah, I thought he did a very good job. Yeah.
Beautifully, but he'll get the hang of him. And the nice thing about him is he's got a nice sense of humour about it all, anyway.
Yeah, that's always very important in racing, isn't it? A sense of humour.
He's been an absolutely fantastic jockey this year as well.
Yeah.
Sir Mark, thank you very much for joining us this evening. One more question, just in relation to Celestial Path. Is the plan still the Racing Post Trophy?
He'll run as long as it doesn't get soft.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Great pleasure. Good luck to you both.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Fantastic. Well, there you go, unless it doesn't come up really soft. I mean, in terms of Sir Mark Prescott, he's been going at it since 1970. And he must have seen all the changes. I've seen some of the clips, and I love the fact that, we all know that in terms of the handicapping side of things later on and stuff, but he just loves it, doesn't he?
He's an absolute mind of information. Absolutely brilliant man to talk to, and more than prepared if you're interested to learn and listen to give you your answers that you want.